You have an extra? Good morning, beloveds. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. My name is Mary Kay Stillwell. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a worship associate here at the church. Over the past few years, the way we have met has changed often. But whether in person, on Zoom, or on YouTube live stream, or some other way we haven't yet imagined, worshiping together is a chance to deepen our connection with the sources of meaning in our lives and to proclaim who we are and what we're about. To throw open the doors of our congregation and proclaim the radical love and welcome that's at the heart of our faith. At this time, Karen Hafer from the Board of Trustees would like to offer her own welcome and give us a few announcements.
Welcome. Good morning. I'm Karen Hafer, and I'm a vice treasurer of the church, and so that makes me an ex officio member of the Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting for the first time. I have a few announcements to share as our church community extends beyond Sunday morning worship. Calling all you artists, you're out there, children and adults, to participate in the December-January Art Gallery exhibit. Please bring an art piece that you're created between this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday. Exact time and dates and times are in your Friday e-blast. Find Judy Hart, raise your hand back there, if you have questions. After church today is our first town hall at 11:30 in person and live stream. There will be one more town hall next Sunday, December 1st, in preparation for the winter congregational meeting on December 8th. All supporting documents are on the governance page of the website, and links are in the Friday e-blast. This afternoon is also the Interfaith Thanksgiving service at First Presbyterian at 3 p.m. The featured speaker this year will be Reverend Dr. Jim Keck from First Plymouth.
Thanks, Karen. The week ahead is a time of gratitude and thanks, so it seems particularly a fitting time for us to offer our land acknowledgement. Please join me. The words will be on the screen. It's a call and response. We acknowledge the land and the people who have called this place home for thousands of years. The Oto Missouri, Omaha, Ponca, Kansa, and Pawnee have lived here at one time. Many others have visited to collect salt at the local salt basin. Nesquithe, by which this area continues to be known, is the Omaha word for saltwater. We thank them all for their good care of this sacred ground.
While we cannot change the past, we are committed to right relationship with our native neighbors. We value their contribution to our community's vitality and diversity. These are not idle words. Our commitment is to action. We pledge to show up in support of local and national policies, programs, and measures that demand redress for lands taken, that offer justice for harm committed, and that seek to promote self-determination and equity for all peoples.
The Unitarian Church of Lincoln aspires to be a loving community, uniting reason with spiritual exploration to transform ourselves and our world. We have a big vision here, and we know that creating a loving community begins with welcome. Whether this is your first time here or your 500th, if you came here hopeful or heartbroken, whatever your age, your gender, skin color, whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we enter into worship, take a moment to center yourself. Find a comfortable place with your body, take a few deep breaths, and let us continue into worship with our chalice lighting. Our chalice lighting this morning is a blessing for risk takers and failures by Reverend Robin Tanner. Today we share in a blessing for losers, risk takers, all failures far and wide. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip their pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good, but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are they who have seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the labels of less than, for they will know the wisdom of the imperfect. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, who wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to sites of failure, who are dogged in their pursuit, for they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses of hope. Blessed are they who seek beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gift of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. Please now rise in body or spirit for hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When we
Like to come forward for the story, you can do so now. Our story today is called Grandpa's Marvelous Loaves, and it was written by Beryl Oschenberg. Beryl is my mother, for those of you who don't know. And some of you might recognize the main character of the story, who is based off of our beloved Alan Hansen. Alan and Lois were longtime members of our church and also very much my adopted grandparents. When my parents got divorced and I was about 8 years old, Alan and Lois took my family into their home for about 4 months. They were always so loving and giving, and we spent many Thanksgiving with them at their house. I dedicate the story today to the Hansens, to chosen family, the people we are intentional about having in our lives, and to the author of the story, my mother, all of which are people who I am truly grateful for. And I just also have to say that this Thanksgiving season, I am very, very grateful for the generosity of the people in this community and all the love that is coming my way. You know who you are.
We love you.
Thank you. I love you too. And so I will begin our story. Grandpa Allen was a member of Nottingham Church, and it was pretty clear that the congregation loved him. He was a man who not only liked to bake, but was also good at it. And not only that, but he could always be counted on to volunteer his services for any church event that included food. Whenever he was asked about the recipe, Grandpa Allen would always state, "The secret ingredient is love." It was only natural that Grandpa Allen was asked to contribute to the annual bread communion. But Grandpa went one better. He offered to make enough of his special bread recipe for the whole congregation to share. Everyone knew they were in for a treat. When Thanksgiving rolled around, the congregation gathered, and Grandpa had been baking in the church kitchen, and the building was permeated with the deep, delicious fragrance of Grandpa's marvelous bread. The service began, and the minister spoke of bread, the ingredients, the process, the texture, the cultures of the earth with bread in common. And finally, it was time for the communion. The minister waved his hand to the back of the sanctuary, and Grandpa brought forward one singular, beautiful loaf. "Oh," everyone said. And Sarah, a 9-year-old, was sitting in the front pew, and when Grandpa Allen came forward with just that one loaf, she couldn't help but pipe up. "How the heck are you going to feed all of us here with just one loaf of bread?" And sure enough, the congregation started looking around and realized that there was no more coming. There were over 100 people in that room, and the growling of stomachs was audible. Grandpa Allen smiled as he took out the bread knife and began to slice. It was an amazing thing that happened then. Before their very eyes, the bread went sprung, and the loaf began to multiply. Instead of one loaf, within seconds, there were 20. "It's a miracle," somebody called out. "Oh, don't be ridiculous," Grandpa replied. "It's a sound mathematical principle." Well, it didn't really matter what it was once everyone began eating, because it was truly the most delicious melt-in-your-mouth bread that anyone in the whole congregation had ever tasted. What a service. And during coffee hour, Grandpa was approached by one member after another, thanking him for his scrumptious offering. But when Jerry moved toward him, Grandpa Allen knew that he was going to be asked for a favor. Jerry was the director of religious education, which is my role. It seemed that the youth group had been helping out at the local soup kitchen every Saturday at noon and were constantly running out of food to serve. There were just too many people who were hungry in the area. "Alan," he asked, "can you do that trick with the bread anytime you want?" "Well, it really isn't a trick," Grandpa Allen responded, "but sure, I can do it again." And they made a deal. Grandpa Allen would join the youth group at the soup kitchen with one of his marvelous loaves the following weekend. Saturday came and they all met up at the soup kitchen. And as you can imagine, Grandpa Allen's bread was quite a hit. With so many hungry people, the loaves kept multiplying and multiplying until every person was full and satisfied. And well, something like that doesn't stay a secret for very long. And sure enough, Grandpa and his bread were one of the feature stories on the 6 o'clock news. It was too bad for Grandpa Allen that very night, the town sheriff, yeah, that's right, the sheriff of Nottingham, was watching the news. And the sheriff was not a nice person. He had been appointed to office by his brother, who just wanted him out of his hair. A man like this would never have been elected by the townspeople. He kicked dogs, took candy from children, and said naughty words at old folks. Not a nice bone in his body. He hated everyone, and he was always looking for a way to get rich quick. That just does not sound familiar at all. Now, with Grandpa Allen's marvelous bread, he figured he had a foolproof plan. He could sell loaf after loaf of bread, and it would never stop coming. All he needed was that first loaf. So that nasty, hateful sheriff went over to Grandpa Allen's house to have himself a little talk with the man. And Grandpa listened as the sheriff first offered and then bargained and then threatened, trying to get him to sell one of the marvelous loaves. "Oh, you just don't understand," Grandpa said. "It won't work for you. Nothing against you personally, but it is a mathematical principle at work here." Well, the sheriff wasn't one to take no for an answer, and he pushed Grandpa out of his way, stomped into the kitchen, and stole the freshly baked loaf of bread that was sitting on top of the oven. And gleefully, he ran out the back door, jumped into his car, and sped home, all the while thinking about how rich he was going to be. And once in his own kitchen, the sheriff took out a knife and set to work slicing the bread. He maniacally sawed across the crust, and sure enough, an amazing thing happened. The bread went sprung. But instead of multiplying, the loaf started dividing. It divided into more and more, smaller and smaller and smaller pieces until there were crumbs. And then even the crumbs divided until there was nothing at all. Grandpa Allen had indeed known the true secret of the bread, and indeed there was a mathematical principle that controlled it. The secret is this: love multiplies and hatred divides. And that is the story of Grandpa's marvelous loaves. I hope you enjoyed our story today. Please keep this secret in mind as you head into the next week, and our children are dismissed to their class.
A central part of our services is a time we join together in community to mark the moments of our lives. We share with one another our joys, our sorrows, the events that mark our steps on our journey. The threads of sorrow and those of joy are intertwined in the fabric of our lives, present for all and remembered by all. We share those threads, and then they are woven together with those of others in our community. Our joys are shared and magnified, and we are comforted in our sorrows. Jason is going to assist in the joys and sorrows today that are online. So I invite you to type into the chat or speak into our shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in sorrow.
My sister Deirdre.
Your sister Deidre. I didn't catch who said that.
My sister Deirdre.
Ah,
Denise.
Denise. Orally, I think you heard that.
Jack and Earl.
Jack and Orally, sure.
Allison.
Allison. Laura Ann. Jennifer. Rachel. April.
My brother John.
Joanna's brother John. Clarice.
Amy Miller, her mother, and Laura Lee says Aura Lee and Jack Ferguson.
Sorrow for grief and change.
Charles,
Sorrow for, repeat.
Sorrow for grief and change.
sorrow for
Grief and change.
grief and for change. Thank you.
My son David, and at the death of his friend Scott.
Could you help me with that one?
Repeat that one more time, I'm sorry.
My son David at the death of his friend Scott.
Your son Devin, due to his friend's son,
Death.
Death of Scott.
the death of Scott. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Jason.
I have one more sorrow from online. Laura Lee again for sorrow. Denise DeBose for her mother's death.
I invite you to type into the chat or speak into our shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in joy.
Sorry, I came up too early before. My joy is a visual, so I had to come up, sorry. We had a beautiful service yesterday for Jack and Orly, and the choir got to sing. If you didn't know, Orly sang in the choir with us for many, many years, and she was a wonderful person to sing with. And one day, she had on a skirt like this, and I complimented her on it. And the next time I saw her, she had a matching skirt for me. And so for many years, Orly and I would, after rehearsal, we'd say, oh, should we be twinnies this week or not? And then after we would rehearse, we'd always do a little swirl together. That's my joy, remembering those who have been in this building before. They are still here with us.
Thank you, Shelley.
Monica, as she travels.
Monica, as she travels.
I have two. First, daughter Meredith has paid off her student loan,
Scott has paid off his student loan,
and my wife Barbara has a birthday this coming Tuesday.
and Barbara has a birthday this coming Tuesday. Happy birthday.
Roz, you turned 12.
Who turned 12?
Roz.
Roz.
I think this is a joy, but this is from Mary Jane Gruba, Cali.
Doctors and nurses.
Doctors of Mercy.
Nurses. Doctors and nurses.
Doctors and nurses.
Family.
Emily?
Family.
Family, sure.
Term limits.
Term limits.
Thanksgiving break.
Pardon?
Thanksgiving break.
Thanksgiving break.
Teachers and educators.
Teachers and educators.
My wife is writing poetry again.
Frank's wife is writing poetry again.
And that's that woman.
This is Frank's wife.
Thank you, Jason.
Community.
Community.
A Street Band.
A Street Band.
Oh, yes.
We know, thank you, Jason. We know too that there are some joys, some sorrows that are yet unspoken, but still deeply felt. Let us hold a moment of silence for everything unspoken.
will you join me now in a time of prayer and meditation? And our meditation this morning comes from Reverend Nathan Walker. Breathing in, I am aware of my pain. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my pain. Breathing in, I'm aware of my past. Breathing out, I'm aware that I am not my past. Breathing in, I'm aware of my anger. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my anger. Breathing in, I am aware of my despair. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my despair. Breathing in, I am aware of peace. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of peace. Breathing in, I am aware of love. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of love. Breathing in, I am aware of joy. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of joy. Breathing in, I am aware of hope. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of hope. Breathing in, I am aware.
Our reading this morning is an excerpt from How to Read Rainbows by Raymond Shubinsky. Rainbows don't actually exist. You can't find the end of a rainbow or its attendant pot of gold. It's not possible to walk across a rainbow as the Norse gods did on the Bifrost, the bridge for fallen warriors to reach Valhalla, or to travel over one like Dorothy to Oz. Rather, rainbows and other similar phenomena are truly in the eye of the beholder, or we might say, in the mind of the beholder. Seeing a rainbow is the result of a cosmic interplay between solar radiation, optical physics, billions of water droplets, and the ability of the human brain to separate white light into a visible spectrum. It's easy to understand the awe and wonder, not to mention the myth, religious devotion, and poetry, inspired by the appearance of a beautiful rainbow after a storm has cleared. Ancient cultures had their own stories about rainbows, such as the Greek belief in Iris, goddess and personification of the rainbow. For most of human history, rainbows were considered tangible objects. But we know now these beautiful atmospheric apparitions are exactly that, visions caused by nature and physics. As the French astronomer Camille Flammarion said, the effects of light, quote, produce 1,000 optical phenomena, always curious, often fantastic, but all capable of explanation. Learning the truth of how sunlight interacts with the atmosphere to allow us to see rainbows took hundreds of years and a good deal of investigation. Each week, we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we all grow from participation in our community, we all give back through our time, our talent, and our treasure. As the song plays, and I think we have a song coming up, right? By the choir. That's a good day today. As our choir comes back to sing for us, the ushers will pass our offering plates. You can also give by texting UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Good morning, Lincoln. It is wonderful to be here with you today. My name is Reverend A.J. Galazin. I'm your interim minister. My pronouns are he and his. And wherever you are on your spiritual, ethical, or questioning journey, you are welcome here. Special thanks to Kathy Disney for coordinating the Transgender Movie and Discussion Night, and everyone who attended. That's what it means to be a welcoming congregation. And blessings to the family of Jack and Oralee Ferguson. We celebrated their memorial service yesterday. Your wonderful choir sang at that lovely service, and I'm still singing, "Come and go with me to that land." Oh, you had to be there. Last Sunday was our service for Transgender Day of Remembrance, and it ended with the classic song, "Over the Rainbow." Imagine my surprise when I got home and started reading this month's edition of Astronomy, one of my favorite magazines, and came upon a story about rainbows. But here's the unexpected twist I have to share with you. Raymond Shubinsky writes, quote, "I was once asked to speak at a friend's Unitarian church. While the minister was out, he told me I could talk on any topic I liked. The topic of my sermon was, 'Everyone sees their own rainbow.' When you see a rainbow, your eyes are at the apex of a cone formed by the light rays that are being reflected that happen to be at a 42-degree angle from your perspective. If you are driving when you see a rainbow, it will seem to follow you. This is because your cone of vision is what is doing the moving. And if you and a friend are standing next to each other, you are both seeing your own personal rainbows. Admittedly, if asked, you will describe them in the same way. Your cone of vision, however, means it's all yours. I have always thought of this as a wonderful metaphor for individuality." Close quote. Shubinsky had me at the word Unitarian. How rare is it to see that word anywhere and in a scientific magazine? Now, of course, I love the fact that we invite interesting speakers into this church. And the icing on the cake was sharing our theology that the rainbow, or the universe, or God, if you will, is a product of our own observations. Natural, rational, phenomenal. Now, rainbows are not the only things that challenge the imagination and come in many colors. A few weeks ago, I attended a Lego convention right here in Lincoln. Everyone knows what Legos are. But did you know for some people, Legos are almost a religion? The adherents spend all year in garages and basements and meet up in exhibition halls to display the results of their put-it-togetherness. I think I just coined that, so please say it with me. Put-it-togetherness. I was a gawker at their mind-blowing creations, admiring the patience and creativity of both children and grown-ups. Because Legos are an intergenerational spiritual practice. And I couldn't tell who was more involved or awestruck, the kids or the adults. And full disclosure, I own several boxes of Legos. But I can never seem to find enough time to build my own rainbow. Some have said that the real American religion is consumerism. and that the holiest temples in our society are the stores and shopping malls that fill our cities. It's hard to ignore our obsession with stuff. One of my favorite places to worship things is the Swedish behemoth known as IKEA. And in my research, I found out there are no IKEAs in Nebraska, a fact that some of you may be proud of. The nearest IKEAs from here are in Kansas City, Denver, and my former hometown of Bloomington, Minnesota. To me, IKEA is like Legos on steroids. Once you enter, you travel through a world of possibilities. It's like an amusement park ride. Once you get on, there's no turning back. You are immersed in an alternative reality, a cavalcade of form, color, and design. Each showroom is a composition of moving parts. This is what you can do in 100 square feet. This is what you can do in 200 square feet, etc. In the old days, we used to go window shopping. Anyone remember that? With IKEA, the whole place is a window, and we're inside. IKEA is not a museum. The rooms don't age in place or are preserved in amber. We are part of the panorama. We create a new reality. We look, feel, touch, learn, grow, smell, sit, and experience. And here's my first life lesson from both IKEA and Lego. We can build many different things using the same stuff. We need to picture our own rainbow in the mind's eye of our imagination and then put it together. But that's not the most important lesson I've learned. The key to realizing all of these beautiful scenarios is that some assembly is required. Say it with me. Some assembly is required. The secret to success at IKEA is that everything we find requires that we put it all together. Everything comes in a flat pack box. And the design specifications require that it can easily be shipped all over the world. Ideas are meant to move. Now, I have learned from some painful experience, if I'm being totally honest. I should really say all assembly is required. If you only do some assembly, you may end up with a pile of junk or something that will soon fall apart. Assembly is not optional. It needs to be done completely. It needs to be done thoughtfully. It needs to be done skillfully if it would last. By now, I hope you're asking yourselves, what does IKEA have to do with the Unitarian Church of Lincoln? Great question. I wonder, is this church trying to put anything together here? Are you following any instructions? Are you using any tools? Do you have any idea how this whole thing will look when we get through this transition time? Don't worry. First of all, you are not alone. Churches and organizations of all kinds are undergoing radical change. What was common for participation a generation ago is now optional. You know all about this. Just like furniture trends at IKEA, styles of religion go in and out of fashion. Do you want to be classical, traditional, contemporary, cutting edge, eclectic? One current school of thought says that attendance is more important than membership. For years, churches have looked at their membership, those who have signed the book, those who support the church financially, those who are eligible to participate and vote as the yardstick of who we are, as in, we are building this place for you, the members. But now some say the real number we should be looking at is our attendance. They say who we serve, our world, our neighborhood, our community, each other, is more important than who we are. The beloved community is first and foremost a service organization. An often repeated question for congregations to consider is, if we were to disappear tomorrow, who would notice? Whoever notices, that's who we're serving. Who we are is always in flux. It's who shows up. Who we serve is why we're here. It's who needs help. It's who needs hope. It's who needs love. Who doesn't need love? Now, I have proposed a few corollaries to some assembly required. Number one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We don't need new things just to keep up with the Joneses or the Methodists. And I love the Methodists. But let's celebrate what's working well here and learn from ourselves. Number two, we don't need everyone to do everything. Say that with me. We don't need everyone to do everything. Each of us has different gifts and different styles. There's no need to use a cookie cutter for every task. Find your own ways to serve. And number three, everyone needs to do something. Some assembly is required. If you're not assembling, if you're not participating, if you're not helping, you're missing out on a great opportunity. And the rest of the community is missing out on the part that only you can play. Now, there's a few more lessons I've learned from IKEA. Too many cooks can spoil the broth because leadership is important in group endeavors. You can't please everyone because sometimes tough decisions need to be made. And it takes skill and planning to achieve put it togetherness. One more time, put it togetherness. Your board has worked long and hard to put together a budget that is honest, reasonable, prudent, forward-looking, and aspirational. A very big project. And no one knows how it will turn out until we put all the pieces together one at a time. Now, it can be great fun to do things all by yourself, like playing with Legos. Jesus said, go into your closet and pray. But it can be even more meaningful to be a part of a cooperative adventure that no one person could achieve on their own. Some assembly, which is what we're doing right now, some assembly is required. Your assignment this week, should you choose to accept it, attend one of the town halls either today or next Sunday, and then the congregational meeting on December 8th. This sets our course for the coming year. And ask yourself, what things can you create right here using this same stuff? I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Blessed be, may it be so, and amen. Please rise now in body or spirit for our closing song, number 1028, The Fire of Commitment. Our closing words are from Reverend Dave McFarland. Bless generously, curse rarely. Oh shit. Practice repair. Read a book or a blog or watch a movie about something beyond your ability to relate, just like we did this week. Practice repair. Lean into your comfort zones, your strengths, your inklings of bliss. Practice repair. Pause to ask whether words are both skillful and absolutely necessary. Practice repair. Sing full-throated songs that create and recreate beloved community. Practice repair. Let go of stubborn self-righteousness and have mercy. Practice repair. Honor the ancestors who could not have imagined our lives or even our very being. Practice repair. Smile. Practice repair. Multiply joy, divide sorrow. Complete coincidence. Practice repair. With the tools at hand. Perhaps I have tools you could borrow. Perhaps you could lend me yours, and together we can practice repair. Go now in peace.
Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. This house is built on love. This house is built with faith. This house is gonna stand for good forever and a day. Come on down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. People gonna see us speaking out. People gonna see us holding strong. Everybody gonna sing out loud. Come on, sing along. Come on down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. It's the church of the open mind. It's the church of the loving heart. It's the church of the helping hands. Everybody plays a part. Come on down this path with me to the place where the road ends. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. Hand in hand, stone by stone, help me build our sacred home. I don't a sacred